1, 2, 3, 4. Those are numbers, but you already knew that. If you want to know what number you're going to pay each month for your car, use Kelly Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader. They're really good at numbers. Auto Trader.
Hello, and welcome to Friday's edition of Unequal Sequels. See, I left you a gap today. Rich, can you let them know what we are planning to do on this very special Friday edition, please?
On this very special Friday edition, it's a very special two-part Friday edition, where we run through our lists, our top 10 sequels that are better than the originals. So,
right.
First part, we're going to go through 10 to 6. Part 2, we're going to go through 5 down to 1, our very best sequel that is better than the original. There are some caveats here. We are talking sequels. So no part 3s, no Return of the Jedi, no Fast 5s. This is purely sequels. Second ones only.
You could see that I was going to have both of them in mind.
Yeah, me too. Not allowed. So, they are top 10 of sequels only. 10 down to 6 in this first episode. 5 down to 1 in the second episode.
Yeah. Did you find this tough? I found it really tough.
I found it really tough. My top 5, easy. And then 10 to 6, the ones we're going to talk about today, I found actually a bit harder. It was easy to kind of nail on. And I think we're going to have a lot of the same movies, but not in the same order.
I think so as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to...
I think I've got a couple of curveballs in there.
I've got one I think you're going to absolutely hate and disagree with me on.
I can't wait to reach
We'll
it.
see.
Yeah, when you said, shall I tell you my list earlier? I was like, absolutely not. I want to be shocked.
That's going to happen, I guess. Okay, right. So we shall start at number 10 in our lists. So number 10 in my list, one that has been on the show a couple of times as choice of best sequel, and it is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Number 10
Ditto.
in my list. Is that number 10 in your list as well?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yep. Oh my days! It's gonna be like when we did the Fast and Furious ranking, and we're gonna be the same all the way through, apart from like 2 outliers.
That's so weird. The first one. Yeah. Why is that number 10, Rich?
Scared the bejesus out of me when I was a kid, I think, and still sticks in my memory now. Not a massive Star Trek fan. I never really have been. Never into the original series. Never been into many of the series, to be honest. That film really sticks in my brain, and I remember it from like 7 or 8 years old watching that movie. So it's got to be in there. It's much, but I can't remember the motion picture. You know, I've seen that as well, and that's not stuck in my brain at all. But this, Wrath of Khan, lodged forever. When I'm 90 years old in my nursing home and I can't remember what my name is, I will remember that bug crawling in Chekhov's ear in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. When we're talking about movies that are much better than the original, then this definitely has to be up here.
Absolutely.
This is probably a newer one to my list since I've watched it and we've spoken about it a couple of times. I just fucking love it now. I just think it's so clever and it's so good. Like, it's a submarine like film in space.
Yeah. It would have been on my list anyway, I think. When I think about sequels that are better than the original, it definitely is one that comes to mind. So even before we started this podcast, it would have been on my list. But you're right, we've actually kind of definitely nailed it down.
It's the best sequel. It's the best Star Trek film. I don't think that's very hard, but it's just great.
4's good. I like 4.
Which one's that one?
4. It's the one with... It's
the Voyage Home.
Yeah, it's not Search for Spock. It's the next one.
Which I think is the Voyage Home.
Is that what it's
the
called?
one with the whales?
Yeah, the one with the whales. Yeah, the one with the whales. That's the one.
I used to think that one used to be really dumb until I rewatched it recently, and I was like, no, this is better than most. Because like the bad guy's like a piece of like lead that floats through the sky.
Yeah, true.
Like through space towards Earth. I can't believe we both got that for number 10. What a film as well.
Yeah, what a film.
And then who was telling us all the stories about? Oh, Matt from Sequelizers gave us like a rundown of how it got made, or why it got made, and who made it. And I found that really interesting. That it was made by a bunch of people that didn't even know what Star Trek was.
Absolutely, it's a cracking film. It's really well done, and to take all those well-known characters from the TV show and to really make a great movie with them, it's really good. Are we ready to move on to number 9?
We go
because I think
9.
we've talked about Wrath of Khan a lot, so I feel like maybe maybe number 9 for me is one we've definitely not talked about.
Ditto, but I don't think this is going to be the same for us now. I think this is where we're going to go a little
I
bit
think we're going
different.
to diverge because I'm not sure this one will be on your list.
Okay.
My one is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And this is the one that I thought Dave is not going to agree.
Did you think I'll put it higher?
No, I didn't think you'd have it. I didn't think you thought Two Towers was better than the original, Return of the King.
I'm going to tell you now, Two Towers is my favourite Lord of the Rings
Oh,
film.
really? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not at number 9 in my list. It could make an appearance.
You love Lord of the Rings, though, right? So,
Oh, yes.
so
yeah.
I would imagine if it wasn't your list, it'd be higher up. I didn't realise it was
Yes.
your favourite Lord of the Rings film. I thought Return of the King was going to be your favourite.
Helm's Deep is pretty much the best thing I've ever seen on cinema.
Yeah.
That is probably better than most films are ever. I just love that 25 minutes of Helm's Deep is the best, one of the best scenes up there. I can't talk about it enough. I think it's amazing. But anyway, you tell me why I'll get to know why I love it. You tell me.
I think it's amazing too. I like the fact that there is the kind of the hiding behind the city walls and the you genuinely feel scared, imagining what it would be like to be in that city. I think that the whole dealing with the father's grief over his son's death, that's a lovely thing. That's dealt with really well. Gollum, you actually kind of feel sorry for Gollum in this movie. He's really kind of empathetic, and Andy Serkis is amazing. Yeah, I think it's literally like it's the bit that glues the trilogy all together, isn't it? It's the bit that kind of... The Two Towers had to be amazing to pull it all together. And, how Christopher Lee is massively, sinister in this movie. I'm really sad he's not in the third one. I suppose he's in the extended one more, isn't he? He's not, but he's... Is he in the third one at all?
I can't remember because I can't remember the last time I watched the theatrical cuts.
I think he's only in the extended one, in the third one.
He definitely dies
Yeah.
at some point, and I'm not quite sure if it's...
But
I should go back and watch them, but during lockdown last year, I finally got her to watch Lord of the Rings. And I was like, well, we might as well do the extended cut because, we're inside for all this time now and can't go out. So Pizza and Lord of the Rings it was, and she really enjoyed them. But I can't remember the theatrical cuts. I haven't watched them in, 15 years or something.
Yeah.
I always go to extended.
yeah, me too, because I have the extended ones on DVD, so that's the ones I watch. But yeah, Two Towers for me, and it's just a lovely movie. It's just, like you say, it's an awe-inspiring, brilliant movie. And better than the first one, as far as I'm concerned. But I know not everyone agrees with me on that. I don't think it's everyone's favourite.
It's a lot of people's least favourites because they say it's slow.
Is it? I don't think it's slow.
Something is always happening.
I watched the extended edition. I don't think it's slow.
They might get annoyed by the talking trees.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. For me, the Ents, and the frustration of the hobbits at the Ents being so slow is brilliant. I love that. It's like the difference between small creatures that go fast and massive creatures that move slowly, and I think it's brilliant. I think it's great.
It's a miracle that those films work because they're so complex and there's so much story to tell. And I'm reading a book at the moment, Ian Nathan's, I can't remember what it's called. It's about the making of Lord of the Rings, basically, and it's a fantastic... as soon as I finish reading the book, I'm going to go and watch them all again. How they got those made is just incredible. And on the budget they did, on this this Weta workshop that had no really high-end experience in making Hollywood-based films. It's inspiring. I love it, but again, I'll get to it, I think.
We'll talk about it a bit more when we get to your pick of it, because I think you obviously love it a lot more than me. I think it's going to come up a lot higher in your ranking. And so what's your number 9?
Number 9 for me, it's a bit of a curveball, is Lethal Weapon 2.
My number 8. Lethal Weapon 2 is my number 8.
Such a good movie. Such a good all buddy cop movies should be based on. At this point, the characters. You've got. I can't say I don't love Lethal Weapon 1 because I do, but I love Lethal Weapon 2. Lethal Weapon 2 is also the first Lethal Weapon I watched, and I was probably about 8, and I remember it because I had to go somewhere with my mum and dad. They were going for a meal at a friend's house, and I came along because at that point in my life, I had an operation on my leg because they couldn't leave me on my own. So they just put me in a bedroom. It was like, I'll just watch TV. And I probably shouldn't have watched Lethal Weapon 2 because it's quite violent. But I did. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I loved all the explosions. I love the diplomatic immunity. Boom.
Yeah.
I love Riggs.
I love the fact that Murtaugh are kicking the arse of racist South Africans.
You're blick.
So good.
So good. I mean, introduces Joe Pesci's character, which by this point isn't that annoying. He's still quite funny.
No, he's still funny in it.
Yeah.
It's got that brilliant scene at the start where Murtaugh's where Murtaugh's on the toilet.
Yeah, that's the toilet. That's Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, the bomb on the toilet. Yeah,
fantastic.
That's brilliant. And his boat, Murtaugh's boat's in it as well. It's the second one where his daughter's a bit more grown up. This isn't the one. The third one is the one with
the ex-cop, Jack.
No, I'm thinking of the daughter's boyfriend, Chris Rock.
That's the fourth one.
That's the fourth one. I think this is the one where the daughter starts getting a crush on Riggs, though, isn't it?
I think that goes from all of them.
The second one's the one with all the South Africans, and I love the fact that a black man kicks all their asses.
Yeah,
that's just the bit.
And it's got a great shootout on the boat at the end, and they get locked in like a container with cars, and they drive the car out, and the money goes everywhere. And at that point, you actually think Riggs is dying. At one point, he gets shot.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, doesn't he?
He gets shot.
Does he get shot?
Shot and stabbed. He gets everything.
Oh, yeah. He shoots Riggs. Yeah, he does. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Because he beats the other South African in a knife fight, and he's all wounded. And then the big bad guy shoots him.
And then Murtaugh shoots him when he does the diplomatic immunity line, like you say, yeah.
Fantastic film. Yeah, great action film. It's a shame Richard Donner died recently. I'd probably watch another fifth one if it ever came along.
Yeah. Lethal Weapon 2, prime example of a sequel that's better than the original. The original's great. The original was brilliant, but this takes it up a notch. Absolutely takes it up a notch. And also, I broke up with an ex, and she took my Lethal Weapon box sets.
What?
She took all of them. She took loads of my DVDs, but this is the one I was most upset about. But that was my number 8, and that was your number 9.
Yes.
Right? What's your number 8?
My number 8, and you might be surprised about this, is Blade Runner 2049.
Really? Yeah. It's not in my list, but you're right. It is good. I'm not sure if it's better than Blade Runner.
You're normally in two camps. You're either you love Blade Runner and you think it's the best movie ever, or you don't like Blade Runner. And I've tried watching Blade Runner a lot. Again, it is a good film. Do I love it? No, I don't. But this one, I love. I thought it was brilliant. And I got dragged to go and see this one because I was like, I didn't really like the original. I can respect what it is, why it's the movie it is, with how Ridley Scott made it, and how impactful it is on today's society in the future. Blah 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 blah. But this one, wow! I mean, what a film! Like, it's stunning. Like, Roger Deakins' work is just out of this world.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I think I'm in the camp. I mean, I don't love Blade Runner. It's not my favourite film in the whole world, but I do really like it. I really like the sequel, but I would probably put them, that's a kind of a situation of an equal sequel, I think.
Yeah.
It's I probably like them the same amount. And Harrison Ford as Deckard, I think he's kind of...
Deckard,
Deckard, isn't it? Yeah, Deckard. Yeah, I think is he a replicant? Isn't he a replicant? That kind of question mark that you have in the first one that you don't get answered, and get a bit more answers, I think, in the second one.
Yeah, I think Ryan Gosling's great in the new one as well. I just think overall it's a better movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a better story as well. I know it's got Jared Leto and he seems to be everyone's punching bag at the moment. But there's a lot to like here. I just remember watching it in the cinema. I watched it in IMAX, which probably helps. And just been absolutely blown away by it. Like, everything about the sound, the music, the cinematography, the special effects, the storyline. And I wasn't prepared for it, just because, like I said, going in, I was like, I'll go see it with you, why not?
Did the de-aging annoy you at all? Because there's a bit of digital de-aging in it, isn't there?
No, not by that point. I've learned to live with de-aging at this point. If it's not going to annoy me in Rogue One, it's not going to annoy me in this.
No, it's slightly grated on me a little.
What a film. It's just, I can't believe it wasn't a success. Like, we haven't got another one. It just absolutely floored me when I saw it. I think it was one of those films at the end when I left in my seat just going, wow, that was good. And then I have to question about everything I know because the first one didn't do anything for me. And I have watched the director's cut, the editor's cut, the composer's cut, the fan cut, whatever cuts there are.
Yeah, there's so many cuts.
The original cut. I'm not actually quite sure which one I'm meant to be watching and enjoying. So when it got to this, I just thought it was great. I don't know how many words I can use to... It just made such an impact on me. I think it's probably the best film I've seen in the last... Hang on, when did Whiplash come out? Last 5 years?
God, time goes past really quickly.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, do you like Blade Runner? Like you said, you're quite a fan of the original.
No, I did. I really liked it. I was in the camp of, this is going to be rubbish. Like it's doing a sequel to a film that was a long time
you
ago.
hate that.
I couldn't see where they were going to go with it. I don't like the big gaps. I think it kind of it rarely works. And so I went into it thinking this is going to be rubbish. Really loved it. Really liked it like you did. And the reason I guess it's not on this list is because I don't know. I don't think I thought it was better than
That's
the original.
fair enough for you.
I think it's on a level. I think that's just my opinion. I can absolutely appreciate it being on your list though, because it's a great film.
What's your number 7?
Number 7, I have Aliens.
Oh, that low.
Well, it's only that low because I came to Alien and Aliens a lot later than I think most people did. So it's not quite ingrained in my childhood psyche like a lot of people. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, there's this movie called Alien and it's so scary and it's the coolest thing you've ever seen. I didn't watch it until I think I was about 25. I watched Aliens, the second one, when we were in our last year of university.
Blimey.
So that was 2005, 2006. So I'd have been about 25 when I watched this movie for the first time. The reason it's a little bit lower down, I think, for me, is just because it doesn't give me the childhood feels that I think it gives other people. But it's great. And I like the action movie Alien better than I like the horror movie Alien.
Mm-hmm. Yes, me too. I'll get to that.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to yours.
yeah, so that's 2.
I know you're going to have that in here. I know that's going to be in your list. But yeah, I mean, I really like it. The face huggers still freak me the hell out.
So did you have a gap between watching Alien? Did you watch that when you were young, or did you watch them all in a row?
No, I watched them both when I watched them kind of back to back, basically.
Oh, wow.
I watched Aliens, and Alien 3, I think, in like over 3 nights in our rubbishy house in Cheltenham.
Yeah. Did you not fancy doing the 4th one, or was that...
I don't think I think I had the trilogy on DVD.
Right.
Like I'd got the trilogy on DVD and I didn't have the 4th one, which is why I didn't watch it.
Do you have a favourite scene from Aliens? Because there's quite a few. That was his mouth, guys. That wasn't his bum.
Sorry, yeah, that was me. I guess the Ripley in the robot-y yellow.
Oh, right, yeah.
thingies. Yeah, that's that. Also, her calling the alien a bitch. I quite like that. Because that just made me laugh.
She's so good in that film. That's Sigourney Weaver.
She's so good. And it's so much better as an action film. And it does that brilliant thing that brilliant sequels do, which has gone, we made a horror film. We don't make another horror film. Let's make an action film. You know, that's great. It's so good. I don't remember liking Alien 3 as much.
No, there's not a lot to... again, people give Alien 3 a bit of a hard time, but it's just... when you've got Alien, which is one of the best horror films set in space, and then you've got Aliens, which is one of the best action films set in space, then where are you going to go? You can't...
yeah. You have to make it a comedy, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and how many films make 3 great films in a row like that?
Yeah, true.
If they had a 3rd film, that would be the perfect trilogy.
I also find Bishop really creepy.
Yeah. The android, yeah.
The android, yeah. I find him generally quite creepy.
I remember his milky blood at the end.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it, his milky blood.
Yeah.
The fact I probably watched this at about 3 o'clock in the morning after we'd been to a club.
What a time.
On my tiny little TV with its built-in DVD player before everyone had flat screen TVs.
Yeah. I won't get into it, but I watched it a lot earlier than you, probably, and it still scared the shit out of me. But it made a good impact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
I can't believe that's that low for you. But I'm not having a go. It's your choice, Rich.
What have you got at 7?
I think you might have a go at me now for this one. I've got Back to the Future 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not got Back to the Future 2 in mine. Because I don't think it's better than the original.
I'm one of those people that thinks Back to the Future 2 is better than Back to the Future 1. And again, It's not by a lot. It's kind of like an Aliens thing. Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's got all the best bits Back to the Future, plus other good bits. So, and they actually go Back to the Future. I think it's a great film.
It's a great film. In fact, all 3 of them are great films. I even like the 3rd one.
I love the 3rd one. I got a poster for it the other day.
The first one's better for me. The first one's the best one for me.
And that's okay.
Yeah. It's just not in my list, that's all. So what's your favourite thing about Back to the Future 2? What are your favourite scenes?
Hoverboards.
Hoverboards. I was going to say, do you like the hoverboards?
I still to this day want the hoverboards. I love his trainers. I've now kind of own a pair that kind of look similar. They're not like the ones that the $4,000 ones.
Yeah.
People have looked at them and gone, oh, they look like Back to the Future trainers. I'm like, Yes, they are. I did that on purpose.
Do they lace themselves up?
No, sadly they don't lace themselves up, Rich. It's just it's the look of the shoe. I think Michael J. Fox is an absolute star in it. I love the flying car. And again, a lot of this is from a childhood, isn't it? Like the things that make an impression of you when you're little and you think, wow, I want a hoverboard. I want a jacket that does itself up. I want a pizza you can put in the microwave that goes bing after a second. Like when I was little, that futuristic house, which now a video screen or for a phone isn't amazing, but back then I was like, oh, that's incredible.
But a hologram of Jaws 46 or whatever it is coming out of a billboard, that's still cool.
I love the design of it. I love the storyline of it. I thought it was very clever how there's old Biff and young Biff, the gambling, the Omnimac. Is that how you say it?
Almanac.
Yeah, betting. It's one of those films that if it's on, then I just have to watch it. And even if it has adverts and I own it, I still seem to sit there and think, watch it. It's really good. I'm about to say it's a perfect film, but it's not, because it would have been higher up if it's perfect.
True. But it's a good film. It's a good choice. And I think I felt the same as you about... I sort of struggled with Ghostbusters 2 as well, because I thought about putting Ghostbusters 2 in this list, but I'm not sure it is better than the original. That's why it's not here. It's a great sequel.
Yeah.
I don't think it's better than the first one. And if we were doing a list of our best sequels, then I think Back to the Future 2 would be in that list, along with Ghostbusters 2 would be in my list in terms of my favourite sequels, but they're not better than the original.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, last one of this episode. So that we got down to 7, so we're now down to 6.
Yeah.
So this is the last one of this episode, of part 1 of this very special extra episode.
Yeah.
I have got Toy Story 2.
I thought you would have it in there somewhere. Great film. I agree with you. I think it is better than the original.
Yeah. Is it in your list?
No.
Oh, nice.
On my leftovers, maybe a pile.
Yeah. I love Toy Story 2. I think I love Emperor Zurg. I love Al and his toy barn. Yeah, I love Jessie and Bullseye. I love Stinky Pete, the prospector. I love Woody getting done up and turn back and the whole Woody Roundup thing. I love the fact that when they do that whole thing with Woody's Roundup with all the merchandise, the way they filmed that was they got all the merchandise and they put it in front of Tom Hanks, and that's his real reaction to all the merchandise he's seeing for the first time. I love that. I think it's amazing. The attention to detail in that movie is just phenomenal.
It's insane.
And it does that thing where it takes it to the next level. The first film is brilliant, and the first film is a buddy movie, and it's about Buzz and Woody's friendship. And the second movie is about making the whole a family, and adding to that family and it being a kind of Woody's family. That's what the second movie is all about. And I love it. I just love it.
It also goes further than the house in the back garden.
Yes, yeah.
Actually, I know in the first one they go to Pizza Planet for a bit, but in this you got the toy barn, you got the flat where the other guy lives, you got the brilliant sequence at the airport at the end.
Yeah.
And the animation, I think we spoke about it in Reese's episode, didn't we? How good the animation is.
It's
so good.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's such a good movie. And I struggled. It was going to be 5 or 6 for me. And I at the very last minute put it in 6. And I think you're going to laugh at me when you hear what my pick for number 5 is. Because I think you're going to laugh that I put that above Toy Story 2. But hey, there we go. And I also guarantee that my choice for number 5 will not be in your list.
My number 6, I think we haven't spoken about it on air, but it's Desperado.
Yeah, we've talked about that. You love Desperado.
Desperado, Robert Rodriguez film, which not many people know is a sequel to one of his first film.
El Mariachi. Yeah,
which he made on nothing, pretty
about
much.
45p in a Twix, I reckon.
He got a load of help with it. We've both watched it. It is a good film, but it's it's a really good student film. I think that's a bit harsh, but
it's a really, really good low budget indie film.
You can see the man's got talent when he's
yeah, absolutely.
So Desperado comes along, and it's a sequel to that. It hasn't got any of the characters on. It's not Antonio Banderas isn't in the original. No. So the only thing that really carries along is that there's the myth of the El Mariachi is the character with the guitar playing assassin.
I think is it the same character though? I know it's not the same actor, but is the
Do you know what? I
actually
don't
the
really
same
know.
character? I think it's.
I just know it's a trilogy.
I think it's the same character, isn't it?
I think it's meant to be, yes. But while this came along, and the action's so good, and Antonio Banderas is so good, and it's got one of my favourite beginnings. It's got Steve Buscemi telling stories about what to come in a bar to a bunch of locals.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So you kind of get a double intro. So you get the story about him going in a bar and wiping everyone out, and then Antonio Banderas pretty much arriving and then wiping everyone out again. And it's great. And it's got Salma Hayek, who is gorgeous in this film.
Yeah.
Fell in love with her when I was like 13, 14.
And then
Danny
fell in
Trejo.
love with her all over again when we saw her in the cinema the other day.
In person,
yeah. Yeah, Danny Trejo.
The action is just so good. It took it to a place I didn't think action could go when I first watched it. Like he's almost dancing when he's shooting, if that makes sense, in the scenes. And at that point as well, I'm a big Tarantino fan, and he pops up in one scene, tells quite a funny joke and story. And I used to love that.
What did you think about the third one? That's Once Upon a Time in Mexico, the third one, right?
If we ever do a thing of disappointing ends, that would be on my list, because it's not great, is it?
No.
It's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot to live up to, hasn't it? That's the thing. It had high standards to live up to, and it didn't quite hit that mark.
A lot of these films I've talked about in my list are, when I first watched them, there's something made them different from other films, and it opened my eyes to cinema a bit more. And Desperado is definitely one of those films when I watch it and think, wow, look how different action can be. Because at that point I'd probably just seen Lethal Weapons and stuff, which I love, and Die Hards, and Arnold Schwarzenegger films and Stallone films. And then you get to this kind of experience, and I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It really is a great movie.
There's a scene when they check the guitar box and it looks like a guitar. They all look away and it slowly opens, and it shows just loads of guns and stuff. And Antonio Banderas is so fucking cool in it. Unbelievably cool.
Absolutely cool. Yeah. It's a great movie. I'm annoyed I didn't think of it, to be honest. I'm thinking about it now. It should be in there somewhere.
But what would you take out?
I'm annoyed. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what I'd take out. I guess Wrath of Khan would drop out, but then I don't want it to.
Wrath of Khan's too good.
I don't know. I don't know what I'd take out. But anyway, that would be my number 11 then. Desperado's my number 11.
If anyone hasn't seen Desperado,
go and watch it.
Go and watch it. And it feels like it's a film that doesn't get talked enough when people are talking action films. Like when I know people a lot talk about like The Raid nowadays, and The Raid 2, by the way, was very close to getting to this list. But again, it's one of those things as The Raid's a very good film. I think it kind of gets forgotten about. And I think sometimes Robert Rodriguez recently, he's made that great episode of The Mandalorian, but he's done a lot of crap.
Yes, he has, yeah. Isn't it like Spy Kids and stuff like that?
Spy Kids and Lava Girl and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's a place for them, but not for me.
No.
And he did. Sin City's a great film, I think. Sin City 2, I would put down in the most disappointing. If anyone asks me, the most disappointing sequel. It's not a bad sequel.
I thought you were going to say you're going to put it down the good sequels.
No. It's not a bad sequel. It's not a bad film, but for me, Sin City was a great film. It was very different.
It should go down in that one that the category of not needing a sequel.
Probably,
Sin City did not need a sequel. It was done.
There was more stories to be told at that point, wasn't there?
Yeah, but not
there was more in the comic book.
But the stories weren't as strong. It's told the strong stories in the first movie.
Oh, he handpicked the good ones, did he?
Yeah, and then the weaker ones are the ones they told in the sequel.
Fair enough. You could put them down in both those options then.
Right. Well, that is our 10 till 6. That's our part 1 of our top 10. So check back in with us next Friday.
Yep.
For our Unequal Sequel Extra. For the rundown from 5 down to 1 of our very best. And I wonder if our number 1's going to be the same. Because we had this with Fast and Furious. Number 10 was the same, and our number 1 was the same. I wonder if that's going to happen on this one.
It might do. Tune in next week to find out.